7 years, 7 different champions. Since 2018, the NBA has crowned a different team every single year. Golden State, Toronto, the Lakers, Milwaukee, Golden State again, Denver, Boston, and now the Thunder. We're witnessing a league in flux, not dominated by one singular powerhouse, but reshaped every season by injuries, roster movement, and surprise playoff runs. The NBA's age of dynasties may be over, and we've officially entered the era of parity. But is that a good thing, or are we losing something along the way? This marks the first time in NBA history that we've had 7 different champions in a 7-year span. That's not just rare, that's unprecedented. The last team to go back-to-back, Golden State, way back in 2017 and 2018. Since then, it's been a revolving door of winners. And if we are excluding those particular Warriors because they had arguably the best team of all time after adding Kevin Durant, you'd have to go back all the way to the 2012-2013 Miami Heat as the last back-to-back champions in the league. And with the final 4 teams in this past season's playoffs, the Thunder, Timberwolves, Pacers, and Knicks, it marked 11 different finals participants in just 7 seasons. 11. That's a dramatic shift from the days of dynasties. From the Lakers and the Celtics ruling the 80s, to Jordan's Bulls dominating the 90s, to the Spurs and Warriors putting together decades of consistent contention. There was a time when the NBA was all about predictability at the top. A handful of teams ruling the league with superstars, system continuity, and sheer dominance. And fans, for the most part, they loved it. Whether you were rooting for those teams or passionately rooting against them, the rivalries were fierce, the narratives were strong, and the ratings were through the roof. The highest rated finals in NBA history, Michael Jordan's 1998 swan song against the Jazz. Some of the most talked about playoff battles of the 2010s, LeBron vs Steph, Warriors vs Cavs 4 years in a row. That was appointment television. So what's better, dynasties or chaos? Parity is what the league wanted. It's what the fans said they wanted as well. After the 4-year run of Warriors vs Cavs, it became clear that predictability wasn't helping the rest of the NBA. The league's new collective bargaining agreement was designed to level the playing field, not just with the luxury tax penalties, but by making it harder to stack superstar talent. And now, the results are starting to show, even if it's early. One of the underrated aspects of this parity era is how it's elevated coaching. With fewer super teams steamrolling the competition, tactical brilliance matters more than ever. Coaches like Joe Mazzulla, Ty Lue, Rick Carlisle, and Chris Finch are proving that in-game adjustments, system buy-in, and player development are often the difference between a second-round exit and a finals run. In the past, talent could mask flaws. And in today's game, coaching wins margins, and margins wins titles. The Warriors dynasty is over. The Lakers bubble squad is long gone. Giannis and the Bucks got bounced early. Boston couldn't repeat. Injuries to Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard shifted the entire playoff bracket. Every year, the board resets. Teams are building through the draft. They're developing chemistry over years, not over one splashy summer. Look no further than the Oklahoma City Thunder, the ultimate homegrown project, now looking like a potential long-term contender. They're young, they're deep, and they might be on the verge of something special. If any team threatens to break this parity trend, it's the Thunder. Sam Presti and company didn't just rebuild, they built smart. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a bona fide MVP leader. Chet Holmgren is a unicorn, and Jalen Williams is a future perennial all-star. And the best part, they still have a war chest of draft picks. We've seen parity, a balance of competition, but OKC could be a staring at the NBA's next great dynasty. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Winning once is hard, winning twice even harder, and doing it 3, 4, 5 times in a row like dynasties of old. In today's NBA economy, with a harsher second apron and fewer avenues to stack stars, that might be borderline impossible. And here's where the conversation takes a turn, because parity doesn't just change who wins, it changes how we judge greatness. Ring culture has been at the heart of NBA discourse for decades. You haven't got a ring, you aren't top tier. But what happens when nobody's winning multiple rings anymore? Another byproduct of parity is stars staying put. There was a time when superstars couldn't wait to bolt to bigger markets or form alliances with fellow All-NBA talent. But now, guys like Jokic, Giannis, and even Luka, who got traded, seem content staying loyal because they actually have a chance to win in their current situations. The pressure to jump ship for a ring isn't as intense when everyone's odds are more level. Giannis won championship, Jokic won as well, Luka 0 so far, and Tatum still chasing another. All of these guys are generational talents. They've dominated the regular season, carried their teams, and transformed franchises. But if they finish their careers with just one ring, or maybe even none, does that tarnish their legacy? Does it make them any less legendary? Or are we finally learning to appreciate the full body of work, leadership, impact, consistency, rather than just counting jewelry? Because if the new era means fewer dynasties, it also means fewer players with 3+ rings, and that forces us to rethink what greatness looks like. We may also see a shift in how front offices are judged. In a parity-driven league, there's less room for error, which means executives are under the microscope more than ever. One bad signing or misjudged extension could derail a promising core. It's not enough to draft well, you need to retain talent wisely, find rotation value on minimum contracts, and time your big moves perfectly. What parity does bring is hope, especially for small market franchises. Milwaukee, Denver, Toronto, all cities that would have been laughed out of the room as title favorites a decade ago, and now they've tasted glory. They've proven it can be done without being based in LA, Miami, or the Bay. For fans in cities like Sacramento, Memphis, Indianapolis, or Minnesota, this era of evenness means every season feels like a chance. And that's just not good for ticket sales, it's good for the soul of the game. International influence is also fueling parity. With more global talent than ever before, the talent pool is deeper and more widely distributed. MVPs like Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid have roots outside of the US, and more teams are successfully tapping into international pipelines to find stars and role players. That international reach is another reason why talent isn't as concentrated in just a few cities anymore. And I also want to be fair, because let's not pretend it's all sunshine and storybook endings. This year's parity came in part because of injuries. Tatum's Achilles, Lillard out early, Steph Curry's hamstring at the worst possible time. Health and luck have played a huge role in who survives and who falls short, as it does every year. So before we chalk this all up to brilliant parity planning, remember, the line between success and disappointment is razor thin. There's also a mental toll on fans. Every year feeling like a now or never situation makes following a team more emotionally volatile. In dynasty eras, you could follow a 5-year arc, slowly building towards a title window. Now, one injury, one trade, one off-season swing, and you're either a contender or a lottery team. It's exciting, sure, but it's also exhausting. So where do we go from here? Is parity the future, or will the pendulum swing back? Like everything in life, this is a cycle. There will be another dynasty. Maybe it's OKC. Maybe it's someone we're not even thinking about yet. Maybe it's in 10 years. But for now, we're in a golden age of competitive balance. Every team believes they have a shot. Every playoff round feels unpredictable. And every superstar is writing a legacy in real time without the crunch of ring count validation. Parity has changed the NBA, but it's also raised the stakes. No more hiding behind a super team. No more guaranteed rings. Now every win matters. Every run is sacred. Every champion is earned. So enjoy it while it lasts, because sooner or later the next dynasty will arrive and the cycle begins again. And if you're enjoying this new NBA era, drop a comment below. Do you prefer parity or dynasties? Let's settle this debate once and for all. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm breaking down the league like no one else. My name is Damian Peters, and I'll catch you in the next one.